consensus. Meaning that there is no enacting moment for a Sharia principle. You cannot find, take any principle you think about and trace it and try to find the moment, the time and place and the people who brought it about. You will not be able to find it. Because every single one of them was a product of people putting out ideas, debating ideas. Those ideas which are accepted remain. Those ideas which are rejected disappear. And those ideas which remain over time become consensus that becomes the source of the principle from Sharia. It sort of seeps into Sharia, to the human consciousness, that people's understanding and belief in it over time. So that is the nature of it. If that is the case, then that is what we do. Simply engage in a counter argumentation for each of these principles, and you will come to an overlapping consensus about the new principles, intergenerational consensus, and that will be, so Sharia is whatever Muslims believe it to be. And again, we know that the term Sharia is not in the Quran in the sense that we use it. It is not in Hadith. The term Sharia is not found in al-mutakallimun literature, the theologians, for the first 3 centuries of Islam. You will not find it. And then it came about now, it has a meaning which is so categorical that nobody else is willing even to challenge. So what I'm saying is that there is a dynamism. There is a really powerful possibilities of transformation that we have in our tradition. But it's not going to come about by itself. We are the ones who have to bring it out. The question about being peaceful within is not going to make a difference. You need the culture, the governmental. My claim is that being at peace with yourself is never going to be enough, yes, but it is the beginning of all the others. It's not going to come about without. That is, if people are not at peace within themselves, they cannot bring peace about in any other way. Now, when you said that the question is, what is lacking at Tawiyah? What is it? Who's going to make it? And when is it going to happen? Is Tawiyah happening now? Is it going to come about and materialize after the regime is overthrown? Now, we had October, and we had the total relapse and regression into something really chaotic. Yeah, within weeks of October, the major parties were conspiring to ban the Communist Party by amending the Constitution, amending Article 5 of the Constitution, which is about freedom of expression. And without the freedom of expression, there is no Tawiyah. So, because our leadership, when we talk about leadership, because our leadership had no comprehension of what constitutionalism is about, they thought it possible to amend an article that is the essence of the Constitution in order to ban an inconvenient little political party. It is little in the sense of small presence it had, but it was very annoying for them, so they want to silence it. Doing so, constitutionally, they amend the Constitution. And when the Supreme Court rules that the amendment of the Constitution was unconstitutional, Sadiq al-Mahdi, the same Sadiq al-Mahdi, who is here and now today, said, I refuse to accept the ruling of the Supreme Court. Now, what sort of leadership would think it possible to decide to reject the Supreme Court when the court is acting within its jurisdiction and is ruling on an issue? You simply say that, I refuse to abide by this. So what is left? And we keep looking, we keep celebrating, we keep, you do search every night. What did Sadiq al-Mahdi say? Where did he go? With whom did he make peace? With whom did he make war? As if we expect anything from Sadiq al-Mahdi. It's absolute absurdity. Now, where is the Tawiyah going to confront this? And when? That is the problem. The problem is that if we wait for a particular sequence that is unrealistic, we are really defeating the purpose from the start. I think that this is more or less what I was saying. about this remarks, I think that basically the question is Islam is not a choice. It is simply a political demographic fact we have to deal with. For many of us, it is a critical point of conviction too, that I would not want to support something that I do not believe to be Islamic. Because I believe myself to be a Muslim and to be accountable as a Muslim. For those of us, inconvenient as it may be, who have this problem, we have to work with it. Those who don't, still tactically have to work with it. I don't think that we can expect to have any lasting, significant change without addressing the Islamic dimension of it.
Okay. Actually, is it okay to take a 10 minutes break? We just have some technical, five minutes? Okay, we just want to transfer the card, I guess, and change the camera. Okay. So we'll take 5 minutes break and we'll come back. Okay, can we ask everybody who's going to ask a question just to say their name, introduce yourself first, I guess.
اوكي انا هتكلم بالعربي، انا مهندس بعدين عايز اوصل الفكره بتاعتي، فلو اتكلمت بالانجليزي ما هقدر يعني بالدرجه اللي انا عايزها. الشكر الجزيل والله للبروفيسور، ويعني بالتاكيد نحن في ازمه، لكن مشكلتنا دائما بدون ادرس الازمه او يعني بنحاول نلقى حل وندمدم الامور. ومعلش للشباب ما في موليت انا كان الايشو ايشو كبير طبعا، بيبدا من الدين اللي هو بالعلاقه مع الله وبينتهي للمساله بتاعتنا ان احنا الجغمسه هسه عايشينها في السودان نتيجه لانه احنا بدون ادرس الاشياء زي ما هي. يعني نحن لو رجعنا مثلا للفهم بتاعنا في تديننا للاسلام. If you question الناس الموجودين هنا هتلقى at least if you are not gonna polarize it like 5-6 groups من فهم بالله الى فهم forget الدين بصوره عامه وخلينا نلقى مخرج. ولكن يعني انا يعني I'm raising this point انه نحن we have to be courageous enough to address the things. نحن اللي هو لما اقول نحن الناس اللي يعني جايين من السودان او جو هنا كوبا we can find a compromise. But الشباب they may look at the compromise as there is no fit for it. I was discussing Sam, we read this point. شوف نحن إذا فهمنا الدين بالمسألة الصورة السلفية اللي هو فهم الغرب السابق we are in trouble even الجازرين بتاعنا. وفق الشريعة is not acceptable. اختلاط. الفنون we have a trouble. تعامل مع الآخر we have a trouble. As the professor said, ISIS, طالبان, بوكو حرام ما جو بحاجة من عندهم. في نصوص موجودة إذا أنت أخذت الفهم بتاع القرن السابع الميلادي. فلكن نحن you may ask me okay what do you think about it؟ ودائما للأسف نحن بنحلها وفق توفيقة داخلية على أساس نفهم بها الدين. في تقديري أنا المسألة بتاعت الدين، الإسلام دين. الناس اللي بيقول لك الإسلام دين ودولة ده كلام is not gonna work. Even if they wish it's not gonna work. الإسلام دين يخرج أحسن ما عندك كبني آدم. أي واحد يجي لك يقول لك أنا am religious, check his human dimension. If it is that big, then the religion works what it should works. طيب البروفيسور قال let us change in within and now. According to which discipline? في تقديري if we don't go للفكرة الجمهورية مثلا we are in trouble in totality مع الدين. لأنه حيكون عندك مشكلة في مسألة المرأة، الفنون، التعامل مع الملل الأخرى، الاقتصاد، and so on. Okay? الناحية الثانية التغيير is good، لكن التغيير وش منهج؟ يعني what I think a good change, Dr. Asir may not think it's a good change. صحيح, maybe some superficial things it may touch and solve the problem. نتعلم الصف، نتعلم الجد في العمل، نتعلم الديسيبلين، نتعلم الاورجنايزيشن. All this we may agree upon. لكن في areas we may not come to an agreement. What I think is good, Salah al may think is not good. It's a waste of time. So we need a philosophy. We'll find that we need a philosophy to base on, so that we can say this is a good case. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give everybody like 2.5 minutes to respond if it's a question or comment.
السلام عليكم. عارفين الحاجة اللي أقولها يعني change as if I speak on an abstract. لكن it could be very, I would like to use an example to make it very realistic. It is an everyday life. People, they think that they need democracy, for example, in Sudan. And they think about democracy that Omar al-Bashir should go away and she should have tomorrow an election. But at the same time, there is no history of the 50 years in Sudan since we had independence and before that of a single democratic party. We don't have, we feel, this is something that has nothing to do with who's in power. This is we as people. We failed to make a single democratic party. Just to organize ourselves, the people who are in the same group, having the same idea, to sit together and make a democratic party. The good example, which I was very hoping forward to see the result when it came up, was Haq, for example. And Haq, when it is a single, sizable, real Sudanese party, which tried, because others are all parties, either they are part of the old story of parties, or it belongs to past or belongs to other country, just a division brought to Sudan. But Haq was a real Sudanese group. Haq, when they came to Sudan and they had the chance to gather, they made the first election. 2 lists came to election. One win. The other left the party. They could not accept the result. And down the road, again, they said, oh, that's no good. When about the period is over and there's a new election coming, they again gathered together to try to make. So they said, okay, let's unify again. They unify again to go through the party. And they did the election again. And again, the group which lost, they left it. So even in the single attempt to have a Sudanese party, we failed to favor democracy. So that is the change. Let us change in being able to make any group democratic before speaking about making a change in the government. Because the government cannot be democratic if we cannot be democratic. And now I would like to take this occasion to give a very realistic, right now doing it. We have our president of the association. She announced that we have the general meeting within few weeks coming. Just be the change you want to make and come and attend this. We do it every year. We end up with 8 or 20 people maximum. Why the people who benefit from this group is few hundreds, but they never come to the AGM. So make the change and let us start with this general meeting coming on the way.
Okay, sorry.
فما حضرت الندوة من البداية لكن جيت somewhere في المنتصف فاحتمال my questions will be or my comments will be based on from the point where I basically reach here and the conclusion that I had from your speech was kind of saying there is a problem on Islam somewhere, like kind of the direction of the lecture or the conclusion of the lecture is something to do a problem with the religion. So I wouldn't contest that point, whether with or against, but I'm going to put some questions. Is it really a problem with the Islam specifically as a religion, or with all religions, or with us as humans in general? My point of why I'm asking whether it's religion is specific to Islam or to religions in general, because if we go to the medieval times, probably we'll see that the Europeans during the Crusader War with the Islamic world at that time is almost probably they committed similar, or you see kind of savage attack as you see today in a sense. Then the reason I'm asking whether this is in all of us as humans is coming from what is happening in Sudan today or for the past probably 30 years. I go back specifically to 1987 when there is this kind of tribal wars in the Darfur region, which is not by all means you can link it to the religion itself, to Islam or the non-Muslim. But there was some act happening, like where somebody will kill a woman, a pregnant woman, and take the child out and throw it, and then using what do you call it, harb, for example, to receive that baby, or just by cutting a woman's womb is something very kind of a savage act against human. And this is within us. Like, I mean, we as Sudanese, we have this kind of act happen. And when you look even after that, you probably go back to 1976 when what they call them the Murtazaqa at that time, when they entered Khartoum and they get defeated. Also, there is some act that happened against certain group of Sudanese from within us that is the same act. بمعنى انك بتمثل بجثة إنسان بتقتله بتمثل بجثة. It happens when Jongaran was killed. It happened the same way. There were people who were killed in a way that exactly تمثيل بجثة بتاعهم. But what I'm trying to say is there is something in us humans. And then in the latest war of the Darfur, very similar stories that I never seen any of them luckily, maybe because I'm away here, but there is many acts that happens represent a lot of vicious act to be coming from a human being. And this is all in us, not coming from anyone outside, and not because of the religion. So the way I'm trying to say is we should address our problems by asking more questions and find some answers to the real trouble of us. And the more recent, as of today, our problem is actually is more of when you lose, when the state loosen its rules, and when you give weapons to every individual, you're losing the state, and when you lose the state, basically, all these acts will come from within us as humans. We kill each other, and simply by dehumanizing your perceived enemy, that's when you actually commit the act, those kind of acts. So,
Okay, thank you. Do you want to answer first, or do you want to take more? Okay, Isam, and then I'll take Umar, and I'm going to Umni and Sama after. Sorry. Then,
السلام عليكم. هبتدي الحقيقة من كلام نويا. لما كان البروفيسور بيتحدث أنا كنت worried جدا about the first three rows on the left side here. من زمن ما عايز اقول ال 200. You know, this is man's here, and I know another side of him. قابلنا في ظروف ثانية كان فيها بنفس قامته بنفس حجمه ده بيمارس في ممارسة يعني قد تبدو للشباب دي الغريبة جدا جدا. كان بيجيب في أركان في الشارع بيبيع في كتب. And I was astonished to know that this is Professor Abdullahi Naim. اللي هو ذات أنا يعني هو كان أستاذ في جامعة الخرطوم لما عمل العملية دي. The reason اللي بيخلي رجل زي عبد الله النعيم يعمل حاجة زي دي لازم يكون سبب قوي جدا. I don't want to talk about it. بفتكر إنه من حق الشباب ديل إنهم يعرفوا why did he do that. وبفتكر إنه يعني لو زمن سمح له ما الليلة في وقت آخر يجي يتكلم لنا عن الحتة دي فيه. لأنه الحتة دي هي بتوري إنه رغم الكلام اللي اتقال عن الشريعة ورغم الكلام اللي نحن كلنا شايفينه حسي about the ugly face of Islam اللي presented للدنيا كلها في محلات مختلفة, still Professor Naim believes that Islam is the solution. And that is the topic I would like him to promise us to talk about.